Hello and welcome to today's blog, Directing to Connecting. And I think this is my favorite one because I spent 21 years as a sales director with a direct selling company. And there's so much work that's done in these direct selling companies to get into a position. And then when you get there, you feel like you have crossed the finish line and that you are there and you become what your title is, a director. And so I want to share with you today some differences that I believe can make a difference for you if you are in a direct sales business, if you are the boss of an office. No matter what you do, these connecting tips will help you connect better with the people around you. So first of all, too many times leaders assume what they want you to know. We have a communication gap so often. So they assume what they think that you know, but you may think of it differently or say it back or do a different deed than they assume you would do. So it's really important to speak with people and clarify and not to assume. All right, so I'm going to go into directing or connecting. The first thing I'm going to look at is directing. When you're in a position of authority, often you tend to direct people. You tell them what you want from them. You tell them your agenda. It's about you. You assume you enlist people to help, to be on the team. Like I said, it's your agenda. You tend to give answers. Now, why does a leader give answers? Because often we know the answers. We've done that before. We know what it takes, and so we give the answers. But when we give all the answers and we tell people what to do, are they really listening? And if we're telling them what to do and they're not discovering it themselves, then they're not connecting the dots to what they need to do, because it takes action in everything, right? We can't have somebody always telling us what to do. We have to learn to think for ourselves. And so we want to move from directing people to what we want to do, our agenda, our goals, what's going on wherever, office or wherever, into connecting. So listen to these things and take some notes on how to connect with people. First of all, this is my favorite word this year, collaborate. What does it mean to collaborate? When you collaborate with people, it means you put out questions, you put out needs, and everyone comes up with solutions. And you would be surprised, even if you were talking with a bunch of kids, like fifth graders, the solutions that these kids can come up with that you never imagined. So just think, if you are collaborating in your office, taking your team and asking questions and finding out what their answers are, and then taking the best answers and using those things, collaborating. To do this, you have to become a good listener. When you're connecting with people, you want to be a good listener. Now, for some of us, that is hard, especially if we have all the answers. And for some of us, that's easy. We are natural listeners. We always listen. But whichever the fact is, you want to make sure you're listening. You might even take notes and repeat back to people what they're saying to you so they know you're listening. When you're connecting, you are working side by side. You're no longer the boss, the authoritative person. You're working side by side. Now, don't you relate and respect people and want to do better for people whenever you're working side by side? You feel like it's a partnership, working side by side. Connecting is empowering people, lifting people, encouraging people so that they can move forward, teaching them what they need to know, asking them questions so they can figure out for themselves what they need to know. It is understanding people where they're at. When you stop and ask people questions, then you can understand where they're at, because we don't all have the same starting place. We don't all have the same knowledge or the agenda or the passion. And so you want to understand where people are at, and that's going to help you connect. As I said before, ask questions. I feel like this is the missing link so very often in teamwork, in the office, anywhere, even like church, committees, groups. Everything is asking questions. Asking questions so you can see what other people are thinking, and like I said, finding ideas and solutions from other people. Connecting means it's not going to be my agenda, but it's going to be your agenda. So when we're connecting, we're going to collaborate on what we want and come up with the best ideas. But ultimately, if it's your job, it's going to be your agenda. I'm not going to look over your shoulder and tell you how to do everything. So that is connecting. Now, I want to give you 7 tips from the leadership book from John Maxwell, where he talks about 7 more things that help you connect with people. First of all, you have humility. You've got to be humble. Nobody likes, for a better word, a stuck-up leader who thinks they got all the answers, who thinks they know it all, who always has all the answers. In order to appear humble and to be humble, you want to find common ground between you and the other person, or between you and the team. What's the common ground? What things do y'all think of in the same way? Maybe like integrity, and just that, integrity of the person, that kind of thing. Common ground, learning to relate to them. You want to be a strong person, but you want to be a humble person. So you may have some strong ideas and you may be very confident, but you want to be humble so that other people can relate to you and let them know that you need them. People need to know that you need them. Number 2, curiosity. That goes back to the questions. Asking people questions so that you can get to know them. A lot of coaches have to do this. They ask lots of questions about all different areas of your life so they can get to know you, so they can know where to meet you in the middle, and then to know what questions to ask you to help you find your way and find the answers that you need. Because remember, we're not wanting to tell people, but we want to ask questions. Number 3, effort. Some people are natural connectors. They just are natural connectors, and they naturally think of other people when they're out and about work, doing other things. They think about, oh, I could get Susie together with Debbie right over here, and oh, this person would work great. I'm in a BNI group, and it's like around 40 people in a morning business group where everybody connects and gives business to each other and receives business. And it's important to be a giver, first of all, in that. But this BNI group is excellent at connecting. So you want to make an effort, if it's not easy for you, to think, who can I connect today? What 2 people can I bring together that their services would be better if they come together, or they can help each other in what they're doing? So make that effort to connect people. Number 4, trustworthiness. This is super big, because if we don't trust somebody, then we are not going to connect to them. We are not going to refer them to anyone else. So we want to first be someone that others can trust. And if that's not been your past, then it's something that you can now start to practice. And you want to look into the things that cause people to trust you. Being where you said you would be. Answering and doing the things that you say that you will do. Being accountable, right? And that goes back to my BNI group is trustworthiness. Because when we give other people business, or we refer somebody for business, it's important to be able to trust that person's going to give them the best service, the best price. They're going to take care of all their needs. They're going to do it quickly. All of these things are important. So trustworthiness. And if you fail, you have to go back to the word humble, right? If you fail, if you have challenges, because things do happen, then you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge it with the person. Remember, we talked about assumptions earlier. Acknowledge it to them. Explain what happened. Tell them how that you will fix it, and then be sure and follow up and make sure that everything was good on that. Number 5, be the first one to give. Be the first one to give. So who can you do something for today? When you're the first one to give, it takes your eyes off yourself. It may take your eyes off yourself on the challenges you have or what's going on in your life, and you give to somebody else. It does create that great feeling of doing for someone else and seeing them achieve. Number 6, listening. Listening opens the door. How often do you go into a conversation and somebody's not even looking at you when they're talking to you? You know they're not listening. They may be talking and suddenly they look over somewhere else and start talking to somebody else. Boy, how does that make you feel? Listening opens the best door, and sometimes we have to literally focus, pay attention, and focus. And when that other person comes into the picture and starts to ask us questions, we had to like put up a finger, hang on 1 minute, and finish what you're doing and who you're focusing on so they know you're listening. Do people often share with you? You know, you're a good listener if people often share ideas or share challenges with you. Can you repeat back what they said? When you repeat back what they said, it lets them know you're listening. Do people feel their ideas are important? Do you make people feel like when they share with you and they collaborate with you, their ideas are important? You're really listening to what they're saying. Refrain from interrupting. A lot of us do that because we have another idea in our head. And when we have an idea in our head and we're ready to interrupt, that means we're not listening again, right? So refrain from interrupting, another skill you might have to practice. And there we go again on asking questions. Asking questions so they know that you're engaged and that you are listening. Number 7, encouragement. Encouragement is like oxygen for the soul. Every person around you can use encouragement. And Mary Kay Ash used to always say, you got to sandwich things. So if there's something you need to really tell somebody they need to work on, you might give a compliment, talk about something they're doing well, sandwich what needs to be said in between, and then finish with a compliment and talk about something they're doing well. Sandwich it. But encouragement enables people to grow and be more than they are now. It helps them step into their very best self because discouragement keeps us from being our best self. If somebody constantly discourages us, we have to pull back. We try to be who and what they want us to be, and then we can't really be our true self because everybody's got a different talent. Everybody sparkles in a different way. And if they're encouraged to be their best self, for who they are, then they are going to do the best job for you. Oxygen for the soul. Charles Schwab, everybody's heard of him. He said, I have yet to find the man, however great or exalted his station, who did not do better work and put forth greater effort under a spirit of approval than he would ever do under a spirit of criticism. Have you ever had somebody looking over your shoulder with every move you make, judging what you're doing? I don't work so good under that. I don't know about you. So today, as we finish up, we're talking about going from being a director, telling people what to do, to being a connector and helping them find their best self and connecting, working side by side. Consider today, do you direct? Are you authoritative? Is it about your agenda? You're always doing the talking? Or are you connecting? Building a bridge of communication and collaboration, building a bridge. This goes both ways. So if you're building a bridge, you can drive it back and forth across, right? So listening, empowering, asking questions, understanding, working side by side. Are you directing or are you connecting with the people around you? My name is Connie Durham. I'm with Connie's Clever Concepts, and you can look up conniescleverconcepts.com and find some more of my vlogs. I hope you can start connecting today. Thanks for watching.